Chase Cashel. I'm a DFC for Cargill Animal Nutrition, and I've worked here for 2.5 years. DFC stands for Dairy Focused Consultant. It's basically I'm a nutritionist for dairy. So my main job is to balance diets for dairy farms, but it involves a lot more than that, like sampling feeds to be able to do so, and ultimately help their bottom line, make sure they're profitable at the end of the day.
Excellent.
The way that my role helps society is that ultimately I'm helping the dairy farm be profitable is the goal, and in doing so it keeps them in business and keeps food on everybody's table. They start 6:30 in the morning, start by getting on my computer, working on diets, stuff like that, analyzing stuff on dairy count for my producers. And then by typically 7, 8 o'clock, I'm on the road, headed to farms. And once I get to farms, I'm doing my typical walkthroughs, looking at cows, sampling feeds if need to, and typically home around 4:30 in the afternoon. Balancing a diet is essentially no different than what humans should be doing, is having a balanced diet. So we're balancing everything down to a decimal point for protein, starch, those types of things for the cows. And then from a dairy comp standpoint, it's a software that most farms have to keep records on cows. So I'm looking at health events, production, solids, stuff like that, to make sure that everything is going well for the farm. So growing up on a farm, I guess I grew a passion for the dairy industry, and that's why I ultimately decided to go into this industry. When I went to college, I had the thought that I would come out and go work on a large dairy in some way. But I did Dairy Challenge while I was in college, which is a collegiate team that you get put on, you have to try out for, and then you go to a different state typically and compete against all other colleges across the U.S. And you basically are analyzing farms, no different than what I kind of do now in the role that I am. So that's ultimately what pushed me in this direction. So I went to Penn State. I got a bachelor's degree in ag business with a minor in animal science. And since starting with Cargill, I've been going to trainings. Did a lot of training my first 6 months, going to a couple different states, touring some farms, and just listening to some experts on different areas. And constantly have some sort of conference call with some sort of industry leader in some way, trying to continually educate myself in the animal nutrition. So any of your science classes, biology, chemistry, those types of classes will help from a nutritional standpoint. And any business or mathematics classes will help just because there's a lot of numbers involved when it comes down to doing nutrition work. So to be successful as a nutritionist, some of the biggest things you need to be able to do is just to talk to people and be able to communicate with them and build really good relationships. And ultimately you need to be self-motivated because you're not going to have somebody looking over your shoulder telling you that you need to do these tasks. You're going to have to want to do it yourself. Teamwork is also extremely important because you have to work with not only your team within Cargill, but also a team on the farm, at every individual farm. So yeah, teamwork is definitely key. So I think the thing that would shock people the most is that I am a nutritionist, but it's not necessarily my main focus when I'm on the farm. So when I have somebody come ride with me, they always tell me that, man, you didn't talk a whole lot about the actual diet, and it's mainly just because it's a whole farm consulting, not just the diet is what our role is. So I think that would come across as maybe a little shocking. One thing I regret about my career so far is that when I was in college, I didn't do an additional internship. I did 3 internships when I was in college, 2 of which was on the same dairy. The best time to get experience is through internships. So my regret is that I didn't do 3 different ones when I was in college to get different exposure to different areas of the business. So to move up the ladder within Cargill, essentially, I'm a sales role now. From there, you can go up to be a local sales manager, where you probably manage 10 to 15 people, and then from there, you could be kind of like a northeast manager, where you then manage all the sales managers that are in the area. So to move up the ladder, essentially you got to impress Cargill in some way with your leadership capabilities to make them think that you would be capable of leading a team. I think what I would tell kids that are in middle school or high school is that to go get experience. If you think you're interested in agriculture, go ride with a vet, go ride with a nutritionist, go tour dairies if you're not from a dairy. just get exposure to everything that you possibly can, because there's lots of opportunities in the agricultural